Hello, I'm John. This is my Primaris attack bike conversion, and you're watching Wargames Models and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome to this instalment of converting a Primaris attack bike. In this video I'm going to finish off some components for the sidecar to attach it to the bike itself, and then start thinking about how I'm going to attach the weapon to the front of the sidecar. So to start with, what I want to do is add a little bit of symmetry to this. So I'm going to use this section from the other side of the ATV and clip it off and attach it in there. I'm looking to attach it just here. I'm not going to trim off these sections here because I might use them to attach the sidecar to the bike. So the first job is to stick this in place. Okay, for what I'm looking for, that's fine. Okay, so while that's drying, I don't want to start attaching it to the side of the bike. I've been thinking about what to put on the back of the bike here. And one of the parts of the ATV is this front plate, which I feel worked perfectly sticking in place there as a back of the sidecar. So I will do that right now. So all the parts that I'm using for this conversion either come from the ATV or the Primaris Outriders. So I'm trying to keep this conversion using parts that you get with those sets. Okay, I want to make sure that's central. Perfect. Okay, well, almost perfect. So that's now dried. Okay, so I'm looking at how I want to attach this to the bike itself. And the key thing I want to do is make sure that the wheels line up. So, looking at this, I can have two attachment points. One just here connecting to the edge of the exhaust, and then the base here, which should go just underneath the footplate of the bike. So first thing I need to do is trim off this top piece. And now I'm just going to hold these in position, because once I cut this one, there's not really much going back, but looking at it, I think I want to take about half of it off to start with. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to clip half of this off, or close to half of it. Flying plastic today, that's gone onto a shelf somewhere. And that is, whoops, careful, that's not quite right yet. There we go. That is sitting where I want it to sit, and that is off camera, sorry, let me do that again. That is sitting where I want it to sit, and that's just about touching the exhaust. What I need to do is have a little flat plate under here that will then sit just under the exhaust. So let's have a look at the kits. So I have some perfect leftover bits from when I cut the back of this off. I think that little piece there is going to be perfect, so I'm just going to tidy it up. It's not really going to be seen as it's going to be sitting underneath. So what I want to do first is stick it to the sidecar itself. And I keep touching this back piece so it keeps becoming unglued, so I've got to make sure that that's straight. So we've now got that piece like that. So yeah, let's have a look at these, how they line up. So I think what I'm going to need to do is trim a little bit of this. I'll do it before the glue has dried. So this will allow it not to interfere with the foot of the rider. Actually, I think that's in the wrong place. I'm going to take that off before the glue's dried. So what I think I'm going to do is, okay, so I can see where this is meant to go. There's a little bit of interference with the foot just here, so I need to take, and I'm doing it off camera again, I apologise. I need to take a little bit off this. So as this is going in place, that's getting caught. So what I'm going to do is take a nice 45-degree clip off that, tidy it up with my knife to get a nice straight edge. And now when this goes in position, it looks like, yeah, okay, so yeah, all of this section is interfering with the foot, so I'm going to have to clip all of that off. So that now when this sits in, let's have a look. Yeah, it's not interfering with the foot. It's trying to come up with a connection point on something that doesn't have any connection points. So I think what I'm going to need to do, let me lay this down here. I'm going to have to put a piece of material going all the way across, sitting on this, just to give it some support. And I think to do that, unless I start stripping down plastic from the kit itself, I'm going to need to use a piece of styrene. So I have a piece of styrene just here. It's So what I'm going to do is cut a strip off the styrene and then work with that. So here we have a nice strip of styrene. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it to the similar thickness to this, and I'm going to stick it all the way across this section. So I need to take off probably about 5-6 mil from this. Okay, let's actually measure this. So I'm looking at about, and I could have a 10mm piece going all the way across. I'll have a 10mm piece and I can always trim it down. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue it across that section there. So I'm going to trim it down afterwards. When I've got the right okay. So while that's drying, let's re-glue the back on. I know I've only got one small point of contact on this, but when the glue's dry, it will be okay. What I've got to do is stop moving it while the glue is drying. There we go. Okay, let's trim this down a little bit. I know I'm not going to need... If there was anyone sitting that side of me, they'd be showered in plastic today. So, I'm looking to trim this about there. I'm not too worried about this piece because it's not going to be seen, it's going to be hidden underneath anyway. So I am going to have to trim a little bit off for the heel there. So what I'll do, I'll keep it in line with that right angle that I did. So I'm going to trim it like that, then like that, and while I've been doing that I've gone and touched the back end again. I'm going to have to be patient on this. I'm kind of rushing this, but I've got the idea and I want to stick with it. You have to put some more glue on that. Right, for now that's okay. Okay, let's just be patient and leave that. And oh, right. Let me put some spots of glue on this, let it dry, and I'll come back to it. So while the glue's been drying, I added another strip of styrene on the bottom here, just so it makes it slightly more level when it glues in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply some glue to the end of this section and on top of the styrene. And then I'm going to position those together. Right, the glue has now dried between the sidecar and the bike. There's still a little bit of movement, and what I've decided to do to fix that is to use a base so it gets mounted onto a base. It'll then match the rest of the squad that it's going to be with, as the bikes are all on bases anyway. Now I've got the option of either that round base, which it kind of almost fits on but not quite, or this larger base here. Now I think with the size that the ATV was, this base would represent it better than the round one. So I'm going to go with the oval base. It will also look very similar to the bikes in the squad. So what I'm going to want to do is put some glue on the base of each of the tyres and then place it where I want it to be. And there we have it. So, sidecar is now attached to the base. In the next video, I'm going to be finishing the bike. In the next video, I'm going to be finishing the attack bike with the gun mount and the sidecar passenger. I hope you've enjoyed this little series of videos. I really enjoy doing conversions, so if there's any ideas that people have, please drop a comment. But for now, my name's John, and you've been watching War Games, Models and Other Hobbies.